Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and I'm the youth pastor here at Family Christian Center. And I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for joining us each and every week as we share these podcasts, and thank you for sharing them all across social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's cool to see messages of hope being spread all across our community. Today I want to share with you one of my favorite stories. As a child, this story stood out to me, and as I'm growing up, it's still something I have to wrestle with, and it's still a story that is really impactful to my own story. So this is the calling of Jeremiah, and we find it in Jeremiah chapter 1, and I think it's so fascinating because Jeremiah, he's one of these people who might be like you and I. He got asked to do something big. He got asked to do something that took him out of his comfort zone, to do something that may have stretched him a little bit. And instead of being like, yeah, I'm going to do it, his first response was an excuse. That's something I would do. You know, maybe you've been the same way. Someone asks you to do something, and the first thing you do is come up with an excuse. So Jeremiah did the same thing, except this time, he did it to God. And so I want to share with you his story of his calling. So Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4, Jeremiah writes, "The word of the Lord came to me saying," and this is God's words to Jeremiah. In verse 5, he says this, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Like, that's pretty incredible, that the fact that God would just say that to Jeremiah. So we can get a couple things just from that little statement. Number one, God formed us. God knows us. Wherever you're at today, this week, I don't know what your week has been like, but I want to tell you this, that God knows you. He knows your greatest strengths and your greatest weaknesses, and that he's never left you alone. In fact, he says, I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That's what it says to Jeremiah. So what that means is that he knows where Jeremiah is going. And friends, he knows where you're going too. And so he says this to Jeremiah. He gives him this plan, and Jeremiah says, hold on a minute. Let me tell you something. And so in verse 6, he goes, "Oh, alas, sovereign Lord. I know," he goes, "I don't even know how to speak. I'm too young." Jeremiah came up with this excuse saying, "I don't even know how to talk. Like, I'm way too young. God, like, you got to get someone else. Like, too young, can't do this. Find somebody else." But the Lord said to Jeremiah quickly, God responds very fast. And God responded by saying this. He goes, "Do not say, 'I am too young.' You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you." Verse 8, "Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." That little passage to me is so powerful because Jeremiah never once said that he was afraid of anybody. Jeremiah never said, those guys over there, they're going to judge me. They're going to do that. God, I can't do this. He never said that, but that was in his heart. So God, what does God do? He says that I know your heart. And so what he does is he goes to the root of the fear. And he says, I'm with you. Don't be afraid of them. I got you. And friends, today, I want to encourage you today that God still got you. And maybe as the only Christian in your workplace, it can be really scary to just go and talk about Jesus. And you may be like, I don't even know. I don't even know all my Bible. I can't talk to these people. But maybe it's God saying, hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of them. I still have you. I know your heart, and I always will. So friends, this week, I want to thank you and encourage you to just live a life without fear because God knows your heart. He knows where you're going. He knows you inside and out. In fact, I was told that God knows me better than I know myself. And every day, that is such a true statement. And so friends, I just hope today and the rest of the week, we get to live in confidence and trust, knowing that God has called us to a greater purpose. God has called us to be people, not without fear, but in trust in what he's calling us to. So friends, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and it's always a pleasure being able to speak with you. Thanks.